Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. I think I said this just yesterday, that I'm getting to the point where I'm beginning to get sick of doing this job. Not because I don't enjoy talking about sports, but I just don't enjoy all of the games that people play. I don't enjoy the fact that there's certain things that happen in the background that, you know, the public is not aware of. And I just don't like the games. I got into this thing thinking, okay, we're going to talk about sports. We're going to keep it real. And that's it. But the more time I spend within the business, I now realize, okay, you can't say this. You can't talk about this. This person's affiliated with that. That person is. And I think the group that suffers the most is the audience. Because the audience is getting a watered down product, right? And they don't really know what the hell is going on. And I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing, right? I've always said that Kobe Bryant is my favorite player of all time. I never met Kobe. I'm not associated with anyone within Kobe Bryant's camp. I think that Michael Jordan is the greatest player who ever played, because I think Kobe's one of the greatest ever. I don't know Jordan. I'm not affiliated with Jordan. I don't know, and I don't, nor do I want to be, right? I'm saying that because that's what I truly believe. Now, there have been a lot of people in sports media that have been accused of saying things that they don't really believe, or they're saying things because they're basically sent out there to propagate a particular message. And one of those people has been Nick Wright, right? Nick Wright really made his name for himself when he came on television and basically trolled the hell out of Michael Jordan. As a matter of fact, if you go on YouTube and you search Nick Wright, that particular clip on Undisputed when Shannon Sharp was there back in 2015 or 16, whatever the hell it was, when he said LeBron had surpassed Michael Jordan, that's his most viewed clip to this day. I think it has something like 4.5 million views. That's the one that really got people paying attention to Nick Wright, by basically trolling Michael Jordan. And at the time and to this current moment, a lot of us feel like this guy doesn't really mean what he's saying. And all of us have always speculated, like, wait a minute, the way this guy defends LeBron, the way he goes, the way he went at Kobe, the way he goes at Jordan, ranking Jordan with his recently top 50 greatest NBA players in the last 50 years, ranking Jordan number 3 behind LeBron, who was number 1 and Kareem at number 2. A lot of people are like, is this guy trolling, or is he doing the biddings? Is he doing the bidding for LeBron James and Clutch Sports? So what happened? A few months ago, we actually came across a clip where Doug Gottlieb, who was a colleague of Nick Wright, basically said Nick Wright was assigned to Clutch Sports, right? But then what happened yesterday, they were talking about the Draymond Green situation on First Things First, and Nick Wright was talking about it, and then it got to the point, and Nick Wright basically came out and said on public TV, on live TV, and said, I'm signed with Clutch Sports, so I know it may be an awkward moment at the Christmas party. And I was like, wait, what? So for those of you who did not hear Nick Wright actually publicly admit this on live TV, I'm going to play it for you right now, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Nick Wright saying that he signed to Clutch Sports.
He could have really hurt the dude. That's just complete. Like,
he could have
thrown that
broken his
punch in the
eye socket.
fight. Right.
So listen, Brew, I agree
and
with
10 is fine, but I'm saying I'd be fine. It should be at least 10.
Wilds, here's my only problem with the money part of it, then I'll get into it.
Yeah.
Your length of suspension should not be impacted at all by if you're a max guy or a minimum salary guy.
I buy that.
And so, like, the money is just game checks. You know what I mean? So if it were, he makes $21 million a year right now on his current deal. Steph makes 60. So you know what I mean? A 5-game suspension for Steph would be more than Draymond. But I'm not concerned about the money part of it.
Can I say one thing on the money part?
Sure.
The whole reason the in-season tournament worked is because guys were getting $500,000.
Yes.
And Draymond's lost more than that because Nurkic was slightly bothering him holding his hip. It just seems beyond comprehension.
Right. There is no rationality to what he's doing. And I would argue before the NBA announces his official suspension, the Warriors are within their rights to come out and say,
you think they will, though?
I think they should.
Allowed a lot of
this.
But
I wonder if they regret it. I wonder if they regret how important ring night was after he cold-cocked Jordan Poole. Another time he could have really hurt somebody. Instead, he just really hurt the team. But we now have 4 wildly violent, very different incidents in 15 months. We have a Jordan Poole jumping punch. We have a stomp on Sabonis' chest. We have a choke of Gobert. We have a spinning back fist on Nurkic. 4 in 15 months. 3 in his last 26 games played. 1 in every 9 games, he's averaging a wildly violent moment.
That's crazy.
Right? I looked it up this morning. In the last 2 years, 624 people have played an NBA game. If we were to say, hey, what are the 4 most violent on-court acts committed? It would be 4 Draymond Green offenses. He is the Nikola Jokic of on-court violence, what Jokic is to like 40-point triple-doubles. It's like, hey, who's done it? It's just his name a bunch of times. And I am not, listen, I understand this is going to make it awkward for me at the, upcoming Clutch Sports Christmas party, but I'll deal with that. I think Draymond Green's out of control. I don't think and I mean that literally, I don't think he can control himself. And the things he's doing right now, when I said after the Gobert thing that these are UFC moves, that wasn't hyperbolic. I can prove it to you. Here, bro, I've got video for you. That's the Jordan Poole punch. That is a UFC knockout. Now we can show you the Sabonis stomp, which we had to go to a different league because that's outlawed in the UFC. Not even allowed there. We can show you the rear naked choke on an NBA court and a guy making the same face as Gobert, like, you gotta be kidding me. And we can show you the spinning back fist. If this is
way worse than Gobert to me.
But here's the other concern, Brew, and I want your thoughts on this. It seems to be taking less and less to provoke him.
That's what's interesting.
So Sabonis, like if you remember when we argued about Sabonis, you made the point, well, Sabonis was holding him. They had been going back and forth. We all agreed the stomp was an overreaction, but there was a real back and forth. Okay, then the Gobert thing, you made the point, well, Gobert was touching Clay, even though there was at least slight provocation. Nurkic is doing something that is called playing defense. That's it. So the provocation has gotten less and less. And the other question I have is this. Let's say it's 10 games. And in 20 games, he does something else. Is he on, because in my mind, he is on a 2 strikes for this season right now. If there is another outwardly, unambiguously violent act, I'm not talking about a flagrant foul going for a life. I'm talking about something like we've seen. I think he's done for the rest of the season.
So you heard what Nick Wright had to say. You heard it right there. He said, I am signed to Clutch Sports. Now, some people say, well, some slow people, some people who are not as bright will say, well, I don't understand. What's the issue? The issue is the conflict of interest. It then makes me wonder, is everything that you say about LeBron based on the fact that you work for a company that LeBron is also affiliated with? Because LeBron, his agent is Rich Paul, who's the owner of Clutch Sports. So you guys are directly related. And one would also surmise that you guys probably know each other and met on multiple occasions. And then it begins to make sense. No wonder you're always saying nice things about LeBron. No wonder you're always taking shots at Michael Jordan. No wonder you always used to take shots at Kobe Bryant. And to me, you lose a lot of credibility when you do that. This is just my personal view. It makes it seem like as if you're just going out there to parrot a particular narrative that these guys want propagated to the public. And once I begin to understand that, I can't take you seriously anymore because you're basically doing LeBron James's bidding. That's all you're doing. And it makes me realize that the only reason you went out there back on 2015, 2016, whatever the hell it was on Undisputed and said that was because you were signed to Clutch Sports. And Clutch Sports wanted that message out there. And I got a problem with this. I do. It's like in politics, it's like having politicians that lobbyists have got to. And they're receiving, they're lobby funded. And that's legal in Washington, D.C., which is incredible. I think super PACs were legal at one point. I'm not sure they still have super PACs, but that's insane. Where you basically could just, a person that was extremely rich could just give somebody an unlimited amount of money. And then that person who's running for office or who may take the position in office, you're thinking, oh, I voted for him. And you're like, no. You may have voted for him, but that person is beholden to the person that gave him all of those funds. And that's legal in Washington, D.C. I don't know if they still do it to today. I don't follow politics as much. That's just one of the reasons I can't get down with politics. But back to my original point. That's the issue. That's the issue with me. Nick Wright is a LeBron James worshiper. He goes out there and propagates whatever clutch sports and these guys want him to say. And that's one of the reasons I can't take these guys seriously. I just can't. I'm sorry. I just can't, because it makes me, I truly believe that you don't really mean what you're saying. And you're only saying that because you're in the employment of, or you're affiliated or represented by clutch sports. And I think that's a problem. I think that is a problem. A real problem. I think these should be independent voices going out there saying what they think. That's what I think. I remember hearing Charles Barkley on numerous occasions. I don't care who wins or loses. I don't think Charles Barkley really has a horse in the race at any level on who's winning or losing. Now, he may want a particular team to win or lose, but I don't think he cares to that point. I don't think he has anything invested. These guys do. Now, I don't know if that's the truth about Shannon Sharpe, but then it makes me begin to question, do you really believe all of those things you will say? That's the problem, in my personal view. Some people don't have any issue with it. I do. Because when you go out there and start saying things that sound ass backwards, we then begin to wonder, why are you even saying this? This doesn't make any sense. And then when we hear that, oh, this person is affiliated with this particular organization, it goes, oh, no wonder you're saying that. And to me, you lose credibility when you do this. This is just my personal view. It's just, and there are a lot of people like this in sports media, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's a damn shame. It is such a damn shame. But hey, it is what it is. That's what these guys do. So you heard it for yourself. That's from Nick Wright's own mouth, not mine. Oh my God, man. These days, I don't know what's going on in sports media these days and in sports in general. So as you guys know, the in-season tournament just recently concluded, right? And we had the Lakers win the tournament. Subsequently after that, a lot of people in media, I wouldn't say a lot of Laker fans, some Laker fans, a lot of LeBron fans tried to make it into this big thing, right? We produced shows about it. People were online talking about, wow, you know, LeBron finally has his 5th championship ring and 5 MVPs at 39. Amazing. And we were like, when did he win his 5th? When did he win his 5th ring? When did he win his 5th MVP? Like, none of those things happened. Last time we checked, an MVP is for a regular season, right? For an 82 game, not no play-in tournament that lasts 7 games, right? So people are trying to make it a big thing. We laughed at it. A lot of people laughed at it. In fact, a lot of people were pissed off that, you know, people were trying to make it into this big thing. But I get the NBA was trying to sell it, a new product, whatever. Then we got the other news that the Lakers announced that they were going to be hanging this in-season tournament banner. And a lot of us almost fell out of our chairs. Like, wait, the Lakers said what? The Lakers are going to do what? Excuse me? And, you know, a lot of people were trying to defend it like, oh, you know, no, you got to understand. It's a moment. So what happened? Yesterday I was going through the internet and I came across an episode from, the Dan Patrick Show. And the special guest was Charles Barkley. Now, if you guys know anything about Charles Barkley, you know Charles Barkley going to keep it real regardless of the subject. He going to say what he thinks. So Dan Patrick was talking to Charles Barkley about a range of things. And then it gets to the part where he asked Charles Barkley to weigh in on the Lakers deciding to hang the in-season tournament banner. And when Charles got the news, man, he just started basically, you know, making fun of the Lakers and people that would even consider doing something like that. But before we even get into his comments, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura.
Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/DreamersPro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you.
So what we want to do is want to play exactly what Charles Barkley had to say as he clowned the Lakers and LeBron fans who thought that this would be a good idea to do that. So take a listen to what Charles Barkley had to say here, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to that.
How much do you celebrate winning the in-season tournament if you're the Lakers?
Dan, are you serious right now? Are you serious right now?
They're going to raise a banner, Charles.
Are you serious right now?
Now, if you're the Pacers, I said you do a parade, you do a banner in the ceiling, any reason to celebrate. You do in-season rings for the Pacers if you win against the Lakers. But
Dan, let me tell you something. If the Pacers do an in-season parade, I'm going to Indy for that, okay? No, we don't. It was a resounding success.
Yeah.
Everybody's really happy with the in-season tournament, but we're not raising banners. We're not doing parades.
They were doing champagne with goggles, Charles.
I'm so glad that I wasn't watching. I'm so glad that I wasn't watching Saturday night. If I saw them doing champagne for the in-season tournament, like I say, it was a resounding success. But if you don't do champagne for the in-season tournament, I'm glad I did not see that. I'm so really glad I didn't see that.
And then people on social media said, hey, Jordan never won an in-season tournament and LeBron has. And I went, he didn't play in an in-season tournament. But how important would an in-season tournament have been to Jordan?
Well, I think first of all, you just want to win the games. I don't think it would have been I think it would have been a better story personally if the Pacers had won, because it was a really coming out party for Tyrese Halliburton. He was fabulous, unbelievable. He seemed like a great kid also. But the Lakers, they're the Lakers. There's 2 teams in the NBA that championship or bust matter to. The Lakers and the Celtics are the gold standard. You can throw the Bulls in there a little bit and the Spurs, but if you're the Lakers or the Celtics, only thing matter is the more championship. And listen, like I say, it was a great success, but the in-season tournament, the Lakers better not put up an in-season.
I think they are.
Listen, man, if they do that, I'm going to roast their ass on TV. We're going to have to talk about it. If they put that in-season tournament banner up, Dan, I'm going to roast them on television.
So you heard what Charles Barkley had to say. Now, I said on a post on the community section a few days ago that, the Lakers have been doing a lot of weird stuff that I cannot kind of abide by. I used to be a Laker fan because Kobe Bryant really turned me into a Laker fan. He's the one that made me care to be a Laker, to be quite honest with you. So I started following the team because of him. And then Lakers started doing some stuff that I just wasn't feeling. Like they was on some other stuff that I wasn't feeling after Kobe retired. And I heard some Laker fans like, Kobe did what he did, but now we got to move on. I'm like, wait, what? We talking about the same dude that helped bring 5 rings to this organization. We gonna forget about him because of what? Hold on, a bubble ring? Are you being serious? Like that's all it took? That's all it took, right? So I was like, nah, I'm not rocking with the Lakers. They own some other, you know what I mean? Now some people, oh, you're not a real fan. I don't care. I got standards, man. I'm not supporting the nonsense. Like I'm not. And funny enough, there's some Laker fans that don't abide by this. So I don't know what y'all on. Now there's still Laker fans and good for them, but I'm not that type of fan. Like, players make me interested in the game. Like, I'm not like, oh, go because I'm born in Maryland, so I got to support the Wizards. Nah. Oh, I grew up in New York. Oh, I got to support the Knicks. Nah. It don't work like that for me. You can support however you want. So I came across a clip of the late Kobe talking about the fact that the Lakers, we're all about championships, man. We don't hang Western Conference banners and all of that stuff. We don't do that. We're all about hanging banners. We're not about the stats and all those other stuff. We're about championships. So for those of you who didn't hear Kobe Bryant say those words, I want to quickly play what Kobe had to say about that, and then we'll continue on with the show.
This franchise does not hang division banners. It does not hang conference championships. We hang one banner and one banner only, and that's NBA titles. And you may not like it. You may think it sucks. You may think it's not great sportsmanship. Get over it. It is what it is. It's a city of champions for a reason.
So that's what Kobe Bryant said. That's the standard I'm used to. Now, y'all on some other stuff, whatever. That's for y'all. We don't all have to vibe on the same level. But that's the stuff I was used to. And then I'm beginning to understand that you guys on some other stuff. So it is what it is. Everybody has the right to support what they want to support. But I just thought it was hilarious that Charles Barkley, was saying that these guys actually want to go up there and hang a banner. To me, it's quite funny. But I guess they're trying to find a way to legitimize this award. But we had actually finished producing content for the day. Stepped out, had to run some errands, some personal errands, and then I was just there on my phone. And I came across some shows, specifically Get Up, where they were discussing the news surrounding Draymond Green. As you guys know, yesterday when we spoke about the story, I made my position crystal clear. I said the NBA needs to suspend Draymond Green for at least 25 games. I'm not a fan of Draymond Green's antics. I don't think what he does is cute. I don't think it's funny kicking people in their private region and acting like you don't know what's going on, doing all of that sucker you-know-what on the court. I never found that to be amusing, and I was never within the constituency of people that always found a reason to defend it. I was never that person, right? So I made my feelings pretty clear. Then yesterday, Jay Williams of ESPN, he spoke about the issue, and he was the only one that I heard really take a strong stance on it. Other people were joking about it. Other people were trying to make a joke about it, make light of it, and I didn't think it was funny whatsoever. So what happened this morning? This morning, I tuned into ESPN Get Up, and I was listening to the panel. Everyone was talking, and then it came time for Michael Wilbon to discuss the Draymond Green issue and to kind of weigh in and give his thoughts and feelings on the Draymond Green incident. And when it came time for him to talk about it, he absolutely annihilated Draymond Green on live TV. And I believe he said what needed to be said on the issue. So for those of you who didn't hear what Mike Wilbon had to say, I want to play it for you now. We're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Mike Wilbon had to say today on ESPN. Take a listen to that there.
You heard what Stephen A. said, and you've heard so much of the reaction here. What is your reaction to the way this has begun now with the league and your expectation of where it goes from here?
Well, Greeny, my reaction is probably a little bit more severe maybe than Stephen A.'s. Yes, he needs help, okay? But they need to take him off the court until he proves he's interested in getting that help and paying attention. Because Draymond Green wasn't paying attention to the last suspension. We know that because he tweeted and he said out loud, I'm going to be me. And finally, the league has said, no, you don't get to be you. You don't own the workplace. There are other people, by the way, your peers, your professionals, who work in this place who should not have to fear being kicked in the crotch or smacked in the face or choked in public view to work. You are not more entitled to this workspace than they are. And it's going to be interesting, to see the union reaction. The union represents more than Draymond Green. And I'm sort of amazed at the lack of anger in some quarters at this. I mean, look, I know Draymond Green a little bit, enough to know this is complex. When you sit and talk to him, and Greeny, you have, and Stephen A. has a million times, and I have a lot of times, there is intellect and sense of humor and presence. You know what I mean? There's a sense of history of the... I have never had a conversation with Draymond Green where I walked away thinking that was a waste of time. As a matter of fact, just the opposite. I wanted it to last longer. Yeah. So you have that. You have a champion, a four-time champion, who's going straight to the Hall of Fame. And my son says to me on the ride this morning, Dad, can Draymond Green even be on the Olympic team? No, he can't. You see this behavior? This is consistently going on for what, 8 years? How long has this been going on? And Draymond's given voice to it. I remember last year, Greedy, when we were all on a location, maybe it was, I don't know where we were, but the Warriors were playing a game, and Kendrick Perkins and I were just talking to Draymond about the slow road start the Warriors were off on. And Draymond looked at both of us and just said, listen, part of this is on me because I can't lead the way I normally lead, and the team needs me to because of the punch with Jordan Poole. This is Draymond telling us this, and he knew it.
Right.
And so I think that the whole situation, the culture has failed him in that, now I sound parental, but okay, maybe I need to be. Mm-hmm. The commissioner's office or someone needed to say before now, no, you're going away. Right. Not for 5 games. You're going to go away now for as long as we need you to until this gets fixed. Because Draymond Green is too valuable. He's too great a player. He's too valuable to the industry, to his team. I mean, what are we talking about here? And so it's disappointing, but I found myself, I don't want to hear indefinite turn into 7 games. I don't want to hear that. That would be, let me make sure I'm saying this clearly, gutless.
So you heard what Michael Wilbon had to say. Listen, I 100% agree with him. I also agree with him that if they do not suspend Draymond Green, in this case the NBA or the Golden State Warriors, whoever's going to suspend him, is going to look like an absolute joke. And it's going to show me that, and show us, that these people don't really care about how players act on the court. Let me repeat it once more for those who may be unaware. The incident of Draymond Green running down the court like a madman and jumping on the back of Rudy Gobert and choking him and dragging him across the court. If Draymond did that on the street, he would be arrested for assault. Police officers are not even allowed to do that move. Draymond got away with it. And the part that got me was there were people that were actually laughing about it. What is so funny about watching somebody get choked out on TV? What is so funny? And then people then try to justify it and say, oh, well, Rudy Gobert tried to touch the opposite teammate to separate. So you're trying to tell me that an equal response is throwing a chokehold on another player on live television, which moves me to the next point. We're not playing at Rucker Park. We're not playing at Drew League. These are professional NBA players that are playing for the biggest league in terms of basketball, which means that there's big money. There's a lot of investors. I was listening to Brian Windhorst yesterday, who said that the Golden State Warriors have invested $400 million into this basketball team just this year alone. So you don't get to behave like as if we at Rucker Park. There's a certain way you have to behave when you're an NBA player. And we're not going to allow some kind of Bush League behavior. That's not basketball. That's not competitive basketball. And I didn't see any reason for that. He got off light there. He got off easy there. When they should have thrown the book at him, they didn't. And I believe that the people that have been making excuses for Draymond Green, the people in media, the fans, y'all are the reason this dude has got, because Draymond feels like he can get away with anything. Even when it comes time to show, some contrition, he can't even do that. He can't even do that. Oh, well, I got to do me, and when I do certain things, I mean what. Like, yo, what are you talking about right now, bro? You threw somebody in a chokehold. What are you on right now? No one does more sucker you-know-what than Draymond. I don't like the way that guy plays back. He's a dirty player. I'm sorry. He's a dirty player. Period. End of story. Draymond does some of the most sus stuff on a basketball court. He kicks dudes in their private regions. He is stomped on people's chests while sitting on the floor. Yesterday, he just smacked that dude. And if you watch the play again, Draymond smacks Yusuf Nurkic in the face. If you go back and investigate that play, he then jumps up and acts like somebody did something. That's Draymond Green in a nutshell for you. This is why I can't stand Draymond Green. I can't. I'm sorry. Because he does too much sucker you-know-what. And then when it comes time for somebody to retaliate, he looks around like he doesn't know what's going on. He acts like he's totally confused at what just happened. I don't like that. Draymond is emotionally unstable. We've been saying this for a while. We've been saying this, and people need to keep it real. We're going to get to another topic
of when Stephen A. Smith tried to make excuses for him. We're going to get to that show shortly when Michael Wilbon basically confronted him and said, no, we're not going to let you get away with that. Draymond Green is not no little child running around on a basketball. He's a grown adult. Certainly gets paid like one, too. So to me, man, listen, I'm not a fan of Draymond. I'm not a fan of that type of basketball. There's no basketball player that I ever endorsed and be like, yo, I love the way I don't like that. I just do not like it, and I think he's 100% on the money. They need to seriously suspend. He doesn't care. He does not care. This is the part people don't seem to understand. He doesn't care. He just got, 3 technicals or whatever it is in the last 3 incidents and 3 ejections in the last 30 days? You just came off a suspension, and now you're on another suspension? And this is somebody that cares? You know how you know Draymond doesn't care? Number one, he keeps repeating the same behavior. Number two, when you listen to him, he said, oh, well, I normally don't apologize for things that I meant to do, but that this one, I apologize. What are you talking about, cuzzo? I'm not a Draymond Green fan at all. I'm sorry. Some people in the media are going to be twerking it up, dancing all over the place. I am not a fan of Draymond Green and his antics. I am not. I don't have to like it. I'm just going to cut straight to the point right here. This is a pretty serious show, and I want to get what's on my chest off my chest immediately. As you guys know, the NBA released the information via Adrian Wojnarowski that Draymond Green has been suspended indefinitely. What that means, what that actually means, no one knows as of now. But what we do know, he's not going to be in any action anytime soon, and it's 100% Draymond Green's fault. It is nobody else's fault but Draymond Green's fault. I think it's important that we state that from the onset. It is his fault. Because there are other players in the NBA that also have tempers. They also have tempers. They get annoyed, and they don't behave the way Draymond Green does. So it's Draymond Green's fault. Draymond is not playing under a set of circumstances that are different from the other 450 players playing in the NBA, 444, whatever you want to call it, players playing in the NBA. They're all playing under the same circumstance, same court, same team. You understand what I'm saying, right? But Draymond seems to operate by his own set of rules. So the NBA decided to suspend him. Now, yesterday, Jay Williams of ESPN went on ESPN First Take and confronted Stephen A. Smith by saying people in the past, including him, have been the ones that have always found ways to defend Draymond Green. And oh, by the way, last time when Draymond Green, threw a chokehold on an NBA player on live TV, Stephen A. Smith was amongst the people talking about, oh, you should get 3 to 5. That was your man. That was your man, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. So these people have been amongst the Draymond Green apologists. They always want to look at it from a nuanced standpoint. They try to intellectualize nonsense, the nonsense and the BS antics that Draymond Green does periodically, right? So what happened? This morning they were discussing this issue. They had the panel there, Michael Greenberg, they had Stephen A. Smith there, Michael Wilbon, and they were discussing this, and they were having a back and forth. Initially, when Michael Wilbon spoke, he took a strong position. Then Stephen A. Smith decided to have a rebuttal. During his rebuttal, he tried to push back on some of the strong positions that Michael Wilbon had towards Draymond Green. And then Michael Wilbon finally got fed up with him. He's like, no, I disagree with you. I don't know what you're talking about. Stop making excuses for this guy. So for those of you who did not hear that exchange, I want to quickly play it for you now, and then we're going to come back and give you guys our thoughts. Take a listen to this exchange here.
Well, let me say this. Let me push back, and I appreciate the Godfather himself, Mike Wilbon, who we all revere, waking me up in the morning. It's rare. Usually I'm up, but damn it, I'm tired. I'm on the West Coast, Mike Wilbon.
Only for you,
you know it. But let me wake up and say this. Listen, Mike Wilbon is absolutely right with every single word that he utters, and I get that. And it doesn't need to be 7 games. That would be gutless. It needs to be more than that. There is no doubt about that. But where I'm going to push back respectfully and to just alter the conversation to some degree. We've shown an elevated level of understanding for a lot of people in throughout professional sports over the years. There is clearly something going on with Draymond Green that doesn't have anything to do with basketball, and he seems incapable of leaving it off the court and bringing it on the court, okay? That is a problem. Now, that's for his to handle. That's his business to articulate to the masses, all of that other stuff. But this isn't just about basketball. This runs far deeper than that. And so when I hear players talking about, yeah, he's got problems. Yeah, he's got problems. And they know what some of those problems entail, to just flippantly sit up there and say, he needs some help. I'm like, damn, y'all could do better than that. There's nobody absolving Draymond Green. He can't be absolved. He can't be protected on this. He can't be absolved from what has transpired. There's too many transgressions that have taken place, no doubt. But I'm not going to act like what we've been seeing over the last 9 months or what we've been seeing over the last year is what we've been seeing for 8 years. I'm not going to go that far, okay? I'm not going to look at an incident where he gets ejected in the finals because him and LeBron gets in a tussle and make that tantamount to what happened with Jordan Poole, and make that tantamount to what happened with Sabonis, and make that tantamount to what just happened, obviously with Rudy Gobert and now this. No, what's transpired since Jordan Poole, there's an elevated level of angst and problems that are going on in the life of Draymond Green that far exceed what happened years ago. And so to me, when we're talking about him and we're saying, okay, he's been suspended more than anybody outside or than Rasheed Wallace and all of this other stuff, I get where everybody's coming from. But we need to understand that since the Jordan Poole incident, right around that time, what has been transpiring with Draymond Green is far more excessive than what we've seen before. Let's not act like this is what's been going on for 10 or 12 years. That's all I'm
Stephen
saying.
A., I'm not going to parse every Draymond Green thing, and I don't know what's going on in his life. I don't. I'm not going to say I don't care because I've just talked about how I've gotten to know and like him. I care if there's something going on in his life. There's something going on in the lives of a whole lot of people you can't bring to your workplace.
But I'm nobody's resolving that.
So you heard what Michael Wilbon had to say to Stephen A. Smith. I like the fact that he said, what do you mean that Draymond Green is going through stuff? Everybody is going through something. Thank you, Michael Wilbon, for saying what needed to be said. Help me figure it out. Is Draymond Green the only person walking around on planet Earth? Help me figure, is he the only one? Is he the only one that gets frustrated? Is he the only one that gets bad news? I don't think he is. I think everybody from time to time goes through these things. The difference is between an adult and someone that can behave themselves in a civilized society is you can curtail your emotions and you don't just go off and get unhinged and start smacking people and kicking people in their private regions. That's the fundamental difference between Draymond Green and everybody else. So I don't understand why Stephen A. Smith is making an excuse for number one. Number two. Why is Stephen A. Smith defending this? I don't understand it. Stephen A. Smith seems to feel more sympathy for the assailant than the victim. This is the part that gets me. Where was all of this nuance for Rudy Gobert and his neck? What if something more severe happened? You're talking about we need to understand. Why won't you just... You see, Stephen A. Smith and others are amongst the people that have coddled... The fact of the matter is this, and we got to say it. These guys are being coddled. These are grown babies that are being coddled. Nobody wants to say what it really is. And the irony is, when it comes to people in our own lives, we can seem to be able to pierce through the veil and call it like it is. Whenever it's our brothers, our cousins, our moms, our dad, or we can keep it real then. But when it comes to athletes, all of a sudden we got to be tippy-toeing and dancing all over the place. Why? Enough is enough with these excuses. Oh, well, you got to understand he's going through things and personal things. You know what gets me? This has been the same story for Draymond Green for years now. This has been the same story with him. And I just do not understand it. Why are we making all of these excuses for a dirty basketball player? Draymond Green is a dirty basketball player. He does things that nobody else in the NBA does. No one. You mean to tell me nobody thought, yo, is something wrong with this dude? Nobody else thought that. Have you ever seen a video when Draymond Green gets ejected? Did you see the game? I think it was between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors, and I think Draymond Green was ejected in the playoff. Go back and look at that game, and look how Draymond Green was behaving on the court after he got it. Is that the behavior of a normal person? You did not notice that. Oh, we're going to call that passion. And people have been seeing this for years, and they've been making one excuse after the... What's the thing that Draymond Green has to do for you people to take it seriously? He just recently choked somebody out. Choked him out. His neck region. That wasn't enough. Give him 2 to 5 games. No big deal. Now he just smacked somebody across the face. What if he hit him in the... So what's the thing that you need to see Draymond Green do on the court for you to say, okay, I've seen enough? What's the thing he has to do? Break somebody's leg? What's the thing he has to do? Break somebody's arm? Well, I'm trying to figure out where does it reach the point where you say, okay, enough is enough? Or is that what we're waiting for? Why weren't you talking about, oh, he needs help, he needs all of this? Why weren't you talking about that? But in the part that gets me is that he may be going through personal stuff in his life. Yo, stop with that, you know what? That is not an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's just not. Because you cannot use that as an excuse when everybody else can use that same excuse. You can't use it. You cannot use it. Number one. Number two, Draymond, if you listen to him in the postgame, he didn't mention anything about personal issues. He said, usually when I do things, I don't apologize for them. But in this, I mean, when I usually, no, what he said, usually I mean to do things and I don't apologize. And in this case, I mean to do it. So I'm going to, like, what are you talking about? He doesn't even seem remorseful. He doesn't. If they suspended Draymond Green for the rest of the season, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. I would not care. That is ridiculous behavior. And then the part that gets me is when he does these stuff, he then acts like he doesn't know what's going on. Draymond is fully aware of what he's doing. He just snapped. He smacks that dude in the face and he jumps up. Sabonis was sitting on the floor, stomps on his chest and jumps up. I don't know what I'm doing. Kick somebody in their balls. He does that a lot. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Until somebody socks Draymond Green in the mouth, then he gonna know what's going on. Nah, man, I'm not a fan of Draymond Green, and I'm sick of people making excuses, and it's not a joke. Seeing somebody get choked out on live TV is not a joke. If a police officer had done that, nobody would be laughing. That's why I can't stand about you, dude. Y'all be picking and choosing when you want to get angry. If it was a police officer that ran on the court and did that to Draymond Green, y'all would be pissed as hell. Do you know why you'd be pissed as hell? You would say because he has no right to do that. Why is he interrupting the proceedings? He's a police officer. He shouldn't be able to do that. But another player should be able to choke somebody in the court, and we're going to laugh about it. I'm out.